welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Ted. My name is Floyd Poynitz, and today we are going to talk with Ted Wilson virtually about homosexuality. Last week we talked about what possibly causes someone to have a particular sexual orientation, and I was listing off several different orientations. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about each of those. So again, grab your cup of postum or your drink of choice and spend the next few minutes with me, and let's talk about some of these terms that we mentioned last week. Seems like no one has a problem with the term heterosexual, and as soon as you say the word heterosexual, everyone just kind of freezes and becomes very uncomfortable. You hear people say, well, God made Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. And that is 100% correct. God is not stupid. Had he created Adam and Steve and not had a provision for them to multiply, to reproduce, that would have been the end of the line. So I expected God to make Adam and Eve, and just because he made Adam and Eve for reproduction does not mean that that was the only model, the only possibility that could ever possibly exist. The command to be fruitful and multiply, I think we've done a really good job of multiplying on this earth, and especially in some areas of the earth. And so we don't need a whole lot more of multiplying and replenishing the earth or filling the earth. So the Adam and the Steve today is not all that far-fetched. We've come a long ways since the Garden of Eden. So heterosexual is when two people of different genders, different sexes, are attracted to each other. And this does not mean that it's a prearranged marriage, or that your parents tell you who you're going to marry, who you're going to love, who you're going to have children with. The heterosexual orientation is that inner thing, the butterflies you feel when you see, if you're a guy and you see a really cute girl across the classroom, and or she smiles at you, and the butterflies in your stomach, you can feel them fluttering, or your heart flutters. That same exact feeling is when you can use the term homosexual, when two people of the same gender, the same sex, whether it's two females or two males, feel that same butterfly feeling, the same yearning to get to know that other person better and to find out all about them. That's called falling in love with someone or being attracted to them. Has nothing to do with sex or what you do in a bedroom after you get to know that person or after you're in a relationship with them. When two heterosexuals are dating, you don't immediately think they're automatically having sex and that's all that their existence or that relationship consists of. But somehow, when you talk about homosexuals, people only can think of sex, and I really don't understand why. The feeling is the same as when you first fell in love, your first love, as a heterosexual with a person of the opposite sex. You hopefully were not just wanting to get them into the bed and have sex with them. You wanted to get to know them. You wanted to spend time with them. You wanted to go to the movies with them, or go out to eat with them, or sit next to them in church and maybe hold their hand or touch their hand a little bit while you're sitting there. Those are the same kind of feelings that a homosexual has. So another term that I was using was bisexual. meaning you are attracted to both men and women. Um, that doesn't mean that you're wanting both at the same time. Uh, Again, you can see a woman and have those butterflies, or you see a man and still have that same feelings of butterflies. And it's hard if you're truly heterosexual. I realize it is very hard for you to understand what it is like for someone who is not heterosexual, for someone who is homosexual and have those feelings for the same sex, when all you can understand and relate to and identify with is someone of the opposite sex. Um, there's the term pansexual, which includes one more aspect. It also includes not only bisexual, male and female, but it also includes someone who is not cisgender, not um, the gender that they were assigned at birth. Pansexual can include someone who is transgender, so assigned at birth as one gender, and then later has felt like they're in the wrong body. The brain and the body don't necessarily match, and so they live as the other gender. A trans man is a person who at some point was identified as a woman or as a female, and that just never really fit, and so they have transgendered into, or they are transgender, and they are now living as a man, so that is a transgender man. The opposite is a transgender woman, is someone who was identified as male uh, at birth, and then later decided that that just didn't fit, and they have uh, transitioned and are now living as a female. So they're a trans woman or a trans female. So someone who is pansexual or has a pansexual orientation can fall in love and feel things for both a man, a woman, and a transgender person. Um, and then the other one is asexual, and that's the one that is kind of the forgotten one that no one really realizes or talks about in the church, at least. Uh, that's a single person who is not attracted to either gender. Um, and all of these have nuances of and conditions that can be applied and added to them. So I'm just talking about in generalities. Someone who is asexual is not necessarily physically or romantically attracted to either gender or transgender. A lot of times they're just thought of as someone in the church who is an old maid or a bachelor who just hasn't found the right person. And people pray that they'll find the right person, or the dear ladies at church try to play matchmaker and hook them up. And yeah, it's kind of pointless because that person is not interested in a relationship. I know as good Seventh-day Adventists, we're supposed to be looking for families and be interested. So just as a homosexual hides their true identity in church, their true orientation, an asexual person also hides it and doesn't let people know that they're really not interested. So they play the game, they may go out on a date or whatever, but they're just not into it. And if any of these categories marry someone of a gender or an orientation that they're not interested in, it's going to be a very difficult marriage. And yeah, I think that explains for a lot of the the bad marriages in the Adventist church, or the marriages that fail, because you can't just put two people together, a male and a female, and expect it to work. That's not the way God intended it. Um, so So yeah, so hopefully that includes or that helps explain a little bit better what sexual orientations are. It's the things that cause butterflies in your stomach, your heart rate to increase, your palms to get sweaty, you get all nervous around this other person because you really like them. And again, has nothing to do with going to bed with them, having sex, or having even lustful thoughts about that person. Sure, you might find them attractive, you might find them cute, handsome, whatever. Um, but that's not what a relationship is built on. A relationship is built on mutual um, wiring attraction that's internal. And here, even in 2024, we don't yet have the right words to describe many of these feelings that we have for each other, to describe what an orientation is about. Um, so hopefully that has helped a little bit for today, and maybe you've had a few sips of your postum and enjoyed that. So just remember that whatever you're feeling, whoever you are, you're created exactly as God created you and wanted you to be. You are perfect. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. And there's no change ministry that can actually change the internal part of you. Uh, so remember that God loves you unconditionally, and SDA Kinship is there to help you to create an affirming community for you. Uh, and if you have any questions or want to comment, you can check us out on the web or on social media at sdakinship.org or at SDA Kinship, and you can always send me a note, info@sdakinship.org. Thank you very much and have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you for the next Tuesdays with Ted. Take care. Bye-bye.